Meanwhile, Drew was moving more. He was able to reach for the phone that was very close to him. He never really got to start pressing the numbers, though. It was like, you got the phone, guy. You were able to get the phone. Press some numbers, 911, maybe. Good morning, General Hospital fans. Here to talk about yesterday's Monday episode coming off of last week's great Friday cliffhanger. We had a pretty intense little Monday episode that I did enjoy, and I'm here to break down my thoughts for the show if I can find my notes. I think I'm going to start with the lesser stuff, even though most things were pretty good. Chase and Willow were out for a run. They end up running into each other. Honestly, I think they'd make a pretty hot couple, and I'm ready for them to start up this affair. Let's get it going. Start it up. But yeah, he was hoping he would run into her because he needs another favor. He and Brooklyn want to adopt Phoebe. He wants her to make some calls. She is down because it's not a big ask, although Chase is worried because it's going to look like he and Brooklyn are using their privilege, but Willow just wants to make one phone call and wants Chase to have everything he wants. They continue to tease these two maybe being much more than friends, but honestly, I'm not completely convinced that General Hospital is going to pull that trigger. Speaking of not pulling triggers, though, Sonny had Rick at gunpoint after Rick and Ava were meeting up after Ethan was following Rick for Sonny. Rick, when the gun is pointed at him, thinks that this has something to do with what Ethan said, and Rick learned that Ethan had been following Rick. I mean, I didn't understand why Rick and Ava just didn't say immediately that this was about art, especially when Sonny had Ethan take Ava out of there, and when Ava and Ethan were alone, she was trying to make a deal with Ethan. And then also giving him shit for trying to mansplain to her, even though he's just so young, I guess, according to Ava, even though Ethan is old at this point, in my opinion. But anyway, Rick is trying to tell Sonny that what he got from Ava was just a gift. He was trying to get for Elizabeth some art. And so Sonny should have felt stupid. I don't know if Sonny felt stupid enough for me in these scenes. But Rick was telling Sonny that he wants this to work with Sonny, and he knows that Sonny wants this to work too, that they want to have this strong brotherly relationship. Honestly, I'm glad this little side story is over with over the past week. It's been going on for like a week straight, more than a week straight. I feel like glad it's finally resolved. However, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Sonny apologized during these scenes that he pulled out a gun on Rick. They talked it out, and Rick is happy that Sonny took the time to ask Rick questions, but did he really take the time to ask Rick questions? Because he asked everybody else. Then he came to Rick with a gun pointed at him before he asked Rick questions. Rick is saying that he wants to be like Jason, where Sonny doesn't have to question his loyalty. And look, I get it. Rick has done shitty things to Sonny in the past, but I'm tired of this show acting like Sonny is a saint when he's been a mobster for decades. And I think Sonny should have apologized to his brother in these damn scenes. Lucas and Liz were together, and Lucas could see that Liz is worried, even though Liz is about to go on a getaway with Rick. So Lucas thought that there was something wrong between Liz and Rick, but Liz was obviously worried about the whole situation with Dante, where on Friday she told Dante that Rocco, his son, may have been the one that actually shot Cullum. Meanwhile, Rocco was volunteering at the hospital, and Liz wanted to look at his hand again, and apparently Rocco's hand is healing from the kickback of that gun. Dante, meanwhile, did go to confront Lulu, and the kids were at home, and so he let Lulu know that he just found out that their son is the one that shot Cullum and not Jason, and that Lulu knew the whole time. Lulu learned that Dante found out because there was blood on the gun that wasn't Cullum's or Jason's, and he was thinking who Jason could take the fall for, and that it was probably Rocco. He did not mention Liz in any of this, but then Dante is very upset to learn that Nathan knew all about this. So they talked about what happened that night and Nathan helping with it all. And Lulu is saying that Dante is by the book, so she couldn't tell Dante. But really, what happened is Lulu was listening way too much to her very new boyfriend. Instead of telling her child's father about what was happening, Dante understands why she was trying to protect Rocco from the WSB, but doesn't understand why she had to keep this all from him. Dante thinks that if he can figure it out, the WSB can too. I think Dante was actually not upset enough for me in these scenes, similar to Rick, who should have been a little more upset with Sonny and at least tried to get an apology. I think that Dante actually went a little easy on Lulu, but I still did enjoy these scenes overall. This was the drama I was expecting to come from all of this between Dante and Lulu. Meanwhile, Rocco was outside avoiding his parents because when Charlotte arrived, he told her that they were fighting over him. So we'll see what happens to this little family with this whole storyline for Rocco. At the beginning of the episode, Charlotte was with Carly, though, and she was over to see her father, but Carly had to tell her that Valentin was out at the moment. When Charlotte found out why Valentin was out, I did quite enjoy Charlotte's smile when Carly told her the reason he is out was to deal with Jack Brennan. Charlotte is happy that Jack Brennan is finally being dealt with. Carly also let Charlotte know about the situation with Jack and Joss. But I did enjoy Charlotte in those scenes. Now let's get to the big stuff, what transpired after the episode on Friday with our cliffhanger where Nina jabbed the syringe and the medication that's supposed to be meant for Drew into Brennan when Brennan and Valentin were fighting, even though she was really going for Valentin. Drew, meanwhile, in his comatose state, listening in the other room to Nina freaking out the entire time. Nina was so panicked in this episode. But Valentin also didn't do the smart thing in this episode because he did pick up the syringe at one point. So now his prints are on the syringe too. So Willow could have a field day with setting up other people to take the fall for what she did to Drew. Valentin wants to know what the hell was in the syringe, and Nina did tell him that it was Drew's medication. Nina is meanwhile panicked, trying to get Jack Brennan up, even though she should know what happened to Drew when Drew takes his medication. So I don't know why Nina thought she could shake Jack Brennan into consciousness. Valentin checked his pulse and then left, saying to let him know if Jack dies. Nina called paramedics over, and I don't know if that was the smartest thing for her to do, but she did, and so Jack was sent to the ER, which left Drew home alone after Nina did not give him his weekly dose of medicine. So Drew's hand is started to move. Liz at the hospital wanted to know from Nina what happened, wanted Nina to walk her through what happened to Jack. Nina said that Jack just collapsed out of nowhere. Nina, meanwhile, called Willow to let her know that Jack had a medical emergency and that he took something he wasn't supposed to take, and doctors think he had a stroke. And then Nina let Willow know that she forgot to give Drew the weekly dose. So Nina really fucked up for her daughter this time. It's about time. She's been doing too much to help the ungrateful Willow anyway. But then Liz questioned when she was talking with Lucas how two healthy men had strokes in the same house 3 months apart. Liz continues to be the one to slowly but surely maybe figure this all out about what's happening to Drew because of Willow. Meanwhile, Drew was moving more. He was able to reach for the phone that was very close to him. He never really got to start pressing the numbers, though. It was like, you got the phone, guy. You were able to get the phone. Press some numbers, 911, maybe. What is the numbers you should press? But Willow arrived and got the phone away from him and said that nobody could be trusted to keep an eye on him except for her. I must say I am still rooting for Willow in this whole thing against Drew. I mean, I wish they can find a way out of this where both Drew and Willow can continue to be villains in some way. that is how I hope they get out of this whenever they decide to get out of this storyline. But this was some good soapy stuff in all of this stuff, between the fight with Valentin and Brennan, Nina and the needle, putting it in Jack instead of Drew starting to move because he didn't have his weekly dose. Very good stuff. Valentin, meanwhile, went back to Carly to let her know that she was right about Nina, and that Nina did try to double cross him. And he also told Carly that Jack may not make it through the night. Then Valentin told her that with Jack out of action, now Cullum is in charge of the WSB and PC, so he could basically do whatever he wants. But if that is what Valentin is now panicked about, why did Valentin go to Jack with the gun in the first place, wanting to take him out? Valentin needs better plans. Maybe it's the plot-driven writing. It probably is, because that is what is hurting a lot of the characters with these plot holes, making them dumber. But Valentin's whole plan with Jack and Nina this entire time has not made any sense. And now him complaining that Cullum's going to have all this power because Jack is taken out. Well, he went over to take Jack out in the first place, but whatever. Anyway, it was quite a good Monday episode for General Hospital. Looking forward to see how the rest of this week develops, although I'm sure we're going to hit a brick wall because the Crash storyline is definitely going to have some time this week and probably hurt the momentum of the week at some point.